Hello and welcome back to another episode of White Album 2. We are currently playing through the closing chapter and we are on Mari-san's route. Haruki has become a trope, and it's the trope where you have two dates scheduled at the same time and you're trying to attend both. Kind of a terrible thing to do. I received a short text from Mari-san that only wrote about her circumstances, which is typical of her. While I'm at it, it's also quite like her to be unconcerned with my own circumstances. She sent her estimated arrival time at almost the exact same time as her flight departed. She probably waited for people to cancel their flight at the airport. That's why she couldn't confirm her estimated arrival time until the very last minute. She did all of this just so that she can stay in Japan for one day. Very important. The Setsuna thing you can just reschedule for another day. It's really not that big a deal. I promised to meet up with Setsuna at 5 p.m. and the flight's estimated arrival time is 6 p.m. Why did it have to be such a cruel coincidence once again? You could just reschedule. Like, if he really truly wants to be with Setsuna at this point, then yes, go for Setsuna. But honestly, this whole route has just been that he wants to be with Mari-san, in which case, just schedule it with Setsuna for another day. If only Mari-san would arrive at least 2 hours earlier. If only my promise with Setsuna was for a time at least 2 hours later. So just schedule it 2 hours later! Ay, but I've already experienced this before back then. On the day I made the biggest mistake of my life, the exact same choices had appeared before me. Hey, Setsuna? Why do things always have to be like this when it comes to the two of us?
Matta.
Man, she's unhappy already.
Setsuna.
私も今来たところだから。
そう。
ごめんね。いきなりなんか変な反応しちゃって。
いや、俺もだから会うの久しぶりで、最初なんて声かければいいかわからなくてさ。
それもあるけど、私のはちょっとだけ違ってて。
違うって？
なんとなく来てくれないんじゃないかって。さっきからずっとそんな嫌なこと想像しちゃってて。
I wonder why.
おかしいよね。ちゃんと約束したのに。なんだろう、私言いたい子だな。
It's just so awkward at this point. Sorry for replying to you so late. Welcome back. I know the trip must have been tiring. I know you've told me that you'd be arriving at 6 p.m., but as I mentioned in my previous text, I have an appointment an hour earlier. It's a promise I can't really go back on. I think I'll be able to meet up with you around 8 o'clock. Text me where you'll be at that time and I'll head over there, Mari-san, whether it's the company or your apartment. I'm really sorry I'm unable to take out some time for you right now, but I'll make sure I'll meet up with you. Mari-san, I'm very sorry for not being able to welcome you back. I'm very sorry for making you wait so long. But I've decided to talk to Setsuna. I need to put an end to everything before I can come clear to you about all that's happened. That's why. I need to uphold my promise with Setsuna at least. I think this is more important than anything else right now. Even if it means that only painful times lie ahead. Even if it means all that's waiting for us at the end of it all is a sorrowful reality. No, this is exactly why I simply can't run away from Setsuna. I can't repeat the same mistake I made 3 years ago. Aww. Coming back to an airport alone is so sad.
2時間待ちか。あ、鈴木？うん、私。実は時差ないの。今はこっちも午後6時。うん。ここ成田だから。いや、細かいことはそっち戻ってから説明するから。とりあえず至急で頼み事聞いてくれない？編集長来てるわよね今日。うん。悪いけどスケジュール確保しといて。風岡が戻ってるって言えば待っててくれるでしょ。そうね。念のため9時から。
Scheduling a meeting for 9 p.m. So many overlapping meetings today. Doesn't leave a lot of time for arguments or crying.
さ、北原くん。
Oh, it's rare to see Setsuna's dad, actually.
ああ、いえ。今日はお酒は。
まあ、乾杯だけでも。ほら。
はあ、ありがとうございます。
父さん、次こっちね。
さっきまで受験勉強がどうとか言ってたのにね。
お祝いなんだからちゃんと顔出せって言ったのは母さんだろ。あ、勝手にコーラ継ぐなよ。
Poor Takahiro.
高弘は顔出すだけでいいの。乾杯したらすぐ部屋に戻りなさい。
無理やり呼んどいたりいきなり追い返したり、それでも受験生の親かよ。
春樹くん。ごめんね。
何が？
The star of today's celebration, who happens to be huddled right next to me, weakly pokes at my shoulder with her finger and murmurs to me in a soft voice, unfitting of the bustling atmosphere surrounding the table.
こんなはずじゃなかったの。本当にただ2人で会うだけのつもりだったの。
分かってるって。
そしたら今日はパーティーやるから外出はダメだって。で、いつの間にかこんなことになっちゃって。
だから分かってるから。
The moment Setsuna asked me if I could come over to her place today? No. Even before that, back when we arranged to meet up at the nearest station, I've already predicted as much.
日にちずらした方が良かったよね。本当になんて謝ったらいいか。
せつな。
はい。
誕生日おめでとう。
I take out a small paper package from my pocket. Setsuna's eyes widen at the sight of it, and her cheeks are reddening quickly. I let out a slight smile as I witnessed Setsuna's response, though I also feel a little choked up. That's right. This was what I should have done 3 years ago. If only I had rushed to give her my present immediately after buying it, just like what I've just done. If only Toma Yoko hadn't recognized that I was Guitar-kun. And more importantly, if only I'd been faithful to Setsuna alone, then...
それじゃあ乾杯しよっか。北原さん、温度お願いできる？
ちょっとお客さんにそんなこと。
いいよ。俺でよければ。
I could have had a calm, enjoyable time surrounded by the members of the Ogiso family back then. And if I did that, I could have slowly and gradually shortened the distance between Setsuna and me.
それじゃあ改めて誕生日おめでとう、せつな。乾杯。
乾杯。
This just is too far.
いや、ただいま。
Again, before today, specifically in game, everything was fine. Now, it is definitely toeing the line of two-timing. I would argue he's definitely two-timing, emotionally at the very least. Because this is so bad. Hanging out with your friend on their birthday is one thing, but buying them jewelry from an expensive store, reminiscing, thinking about what things could have been, while fooling her family into thinking you're her boyfriend, no. That's cheating. I'm sorry. That's gross.
あ、マリさんお帰りなさい。
お疲れ様っす。
And the fact that Haruki and Mari confessed to each other and everything, it really makes it feel like Setsuna's the odd girl out. Like, he's cheating on Mari with Setsuna. It doesn't even feel like Mari's the odd one out at this point.
風岡あれ確かお前今月いっぱいは向こうだって。
休み取れたんでちょっと帰ってきた。明日朝一の便でとんぼ帰りだけど。
何しに来たんだ一体。
なんというか些細かつ重要な要件を片付けるため。
なんだそりゃ。本作ってる人間が妙な日本語使うなって自分の口うるさい部下に叱られるぞ。
部下か。
あ、せっかく早く着いたんですから、今から編集長に声かけてきたらどうです？確か、
ああ、いや、私の方がまだ結論出てないんで。
結論？
持ち帰ってきた仕事が片付いてないって意味。
Oh boy.
ほら、捕まって。
ごめんね。私、なんだか調子に乗っちゃって。
いいんだよ。今日はどれだけハメを外しても。だって、刹那のための日なんだから。
Setsuna has drunk quite a lot today.
ありがとう、春樹くん。
And she is smiling without a care in the world.
ほら、座って。水持ってこようか。
いい、大丈夫だから。
She helped herself to food and drink and frolicked around, and she became heavily drunk before she knew it. But no one was able to bring themselves to stop her. After all, the others who celebrated with her just couldn't help but smile at the sight of the birthday girl simply acting as she should on her special day.
楽しかった。
Setsuna sits on her bed and lets out a warm sigh, still immersed in the aftermath of the party's lively mood. She shuts her eyes as if to remember the enjoyable time she had just a short while ago, and her wet lips moved very slightly, seemingly mumbling something. She might be singing something that I've never been able to listen to for the past few years.
試験も終わって、進級も決まって、誕生日みんなにお祝いしてもらって。
よかったな。
春樹くんにお祝いしてもらって。
俺はそんな大したこと。
ありがとう、春樹くん。
Setsuna's fingers are touching her earlobe.
さっきも同じこと言ってたぞ。
何度でも言うよ。ありがとう、春樹くん。
To be exact, she's touching what she's put in her ear, the earring I've gifted her. I had a fleeting glimpse of Setsuna looking quite amorous, and it caused me to reflexively look away from her and look around the room. It's already been 3 years since I last visited Setsuna's room. It hasn't changed since then. It looks girly, but not particularly fancy, though I wouldn't call it simple either. The room feels just right. It doesn't feel unfashionable or too over the top. Though if I had to point out one thing that's just a little out of place, I'd have to say it's the kotatsu that's in the same spot as 3 years ago. The atmosphere we shared when the three of us studied together and got excited as we talked about various things together still lingers here. The first time I came up here, I was suddenly treated to Setsuna's homemade cooking. I wouldn't say her cooking skills were exceptional, but she did have the fundamentals down. Yeah, if I recall, you talked about how it didn't taste good, but it didn't taste bad, and everything was exactly to the book, which isn't really a compliment. And the food she served at the party today is proof that she's since improved by leaps and bounds.
変わってないでしょ？
そうだな。
As I indulge myself in this warm feeling of nostalgia.
だって私が変わってないんだもん。
え？
Things between us shouldn't be allowed to be as they are right now.
3年前から止まったままなんだもん。
せつな。
だから部屋の中だって変わるわけがないよね。模様替えなんかできるはずがないよね。ごめん、何言ってるんだろう私。
いや、
ごめんなさい。またやっちゃった。今までの2時間たった数秒で壊しちゃった。
Man, they're just so awkward, honestly. At some point, you gotta be like, look, we had a good thing for a while, but like, is it gonna work out at this point?
気にしてないから俺は。だからお願いだ。せつなも忘れて。
Is it because she's drunk? Or did she have to get drunk in order to say things like this? And just like that, Setsuna goes back to destroying herself in an instant. She's hurt by her own words, and her attitude wounds her even more. Inevitably, she's revealing that the bright and lively persona she donned up until a short while ago was only temporary.
どうしたの？あれ。
私が知るわけないじゃん。
なあ風岡。
何？
お前さっきから貧乏ゆすりくらいしかしてないけど持ち帰ってきた仕事ってのは？
No, don't bother her.
帰ってくるなり仕事って慣れない海外生活に疲れて帰国してきた同僚を少しはいたわろうかという気持ちはないの？あんたは。
She is definitely in a bad mood.
いや仕事言ってるのはいつも。
マリさん、そろそろ9時なんだけど。
Oh, Haruki. You can't keep standing people up.
それが何？
それが何と言われても、編集長との打ち合わせの時間。
待たせとけばいいのよ。どうせ今日はこの後何の予定もないんでしょ？
けど上司ですよ。
だからそれが何なの？こっちは忙しいの？
なんというパワーバランス。
だってうちの編集会議の日程調整ってまず風岡の空いてる時間帯を探すんだぜ。
こんなんで4月から大丈夫なんですかね？だって
まあ待たせてもいいですけど、自分で遅れるって連絡入れてくださいよ。後で私が怒られるの嫌ですからね。
分かってるわよ。まったくもう久しぶりだってのにみんな冷たいんだから。
ただ恐れおののいてるだけなんですけど。
Yep.
今日は来てくれて本当にありがとう。
だから別に俺は。
私の誕生日祝ってくれてありがとう。
Setsuna seems to be saying thank you to me over and over again today. She said thank you to me for giving her a shoulder to lean on. She said thank you for giving her that present. She said thank you for coming. She said thank you for celebrating her birthday. She said thank you without any particular reason.
今まで祝えなくてごめん。
But it's not like that.
セツナの一番大切な日にいつも一緒にいられなくてごめん。
I don't know how to respond to her, given that she's being grateful for something she's supposed to be condemning me for.
3年前のあの日来られなくてごめん。
春樹くん。
絶対行くって言ったのに、どれだけ遅くなっても必ず顔だけは出すって。
いいよもう。だって今日ちゃんとこうして償ってくれた。あの日を再現してくれた。
The very day I betrayed Setsuna for the first time was the longest and most cruel day of my life.
お父さんがいて、お母さんがいて、高弘がいて。
It was the day that sparked the beginning of everything collapsing around us. Having betrayed her on that day, I only ended up betraying her again and again and condemned Setsuna to 3 years of nothing but pain and sorrow.
そして春樹くん、みんなが揃って私の誕生日を祝ってくれたから。
セツナ、俺
Something like this isn't even remotely enough to earn her forgiveness.
だって俺あの時
なんてね。あの日の再現なんて嘘。
え？
私ずっと嘘ついてたの。
それってどういう？
I was the one who lied that day. So why am I not the first between us to confess my sin?
3年前のあの日、ここに家族なんかいなかった。春樹くんを待ってたのは私一人だった。
No, that's not a sin.
家族はみんな北海道に旅行に行っちゃってた。友達も誰も呼んでなかった。私一人であなたをずっと待ってた。
If we're trying to open each other's wounds, I think we're doing a great job here.
セツ
パーティーなんだからサプライズがいるよね。だから春樹くんには家族と一緒だって嘘ついて、でのこのこやってきたら私一人でびっくりって。
It's something that's completely meaningless with the way things are now. And it's something so heavy that I don't even know how to respond.
本当はそうなんじゃない。ただ覚悟ができてなかったんだ。春樹くんにそのことを前もって話す覚悟だけが。
Wait a minute. Back then, I wanted us to stay together. That was exactly why I was furious at Kazusa for disturbing that harmony. It was why I chased after her. I thought that it just wasn't right for only the two of us to spend that time alone, and believed that it had to be the three of us together. And then what happened next was...
どうして喋っちゃったんだろう、私。
I wanted to spend that day alone with Setsuna. I desired Setsuna. Regardless of my intention for seeking Kazusa out back then, the feeling I had was real, no matter what anyone says.
なんでこんな。春樹くんにとっては今さらどうでもいいのにね。
If that surprise had never meant to be a surprise, I would have had no reason whatsoever to act the way I did back then, no matter how much time I had before the party. I would have immediately rushed to where Setsuna was and embraced her with all my strength.
ごめんなさい。今言ったことを忘れて。今日私の話すこと一言も覚えていないで。
My cell phone is vibrating in my pocket. I was wondering what the heck that noise was. But I'm unable to take it out right now. I just can't bring myself to do it. Haruki, Haruki, Haruki. The king of breaking promises.
風岡どうしたんだ一体。
虫がいたのよ。でも安心して、ちゃんと踏みつぶしたから。
Okay, that's believable.
そう、それは良かったね。
That's great. Oh, I feel so bad for her. Imagine flying across the world. Jet lag, super tiring, super pain in the butt. Just to get stood up like this? Are you kidding me?
コーヒー買ってくる。
ごゆっくり。
虫なんかいた？
マリさんがいたって言うならいたんでしょ。ものすごく悪い居所に。ごめんね。
Oh, there's that cell phone buzzing again.
だから今日は謝らなくていいんだって。
The fifth call ended.
今日まで会わなくてごめんね。
忙しかったんだから仕方ないって。
そんなわけないって。
They haven't even talked about the thing that Haruki needed to talk to her about, which was, I was hoping to be like, hey, I'm with Mari-san now, like, sorry. Ay, ay, ay. Now it's like 9 o'clock. An hour past your promised meeting time. But I just couldn't bring myself to look away from Setsuna with the way she is now. I just couldn't muster the strength to let go of her hands that are entwined with mine. Haruki.
逃げてたって。春樹くんの話を聞くのが怖くてずっと逃げてたって分かってるくせに。
In other words, Setsuna herself is also fully aware.
今日なら春樹くんは大事な話ができない。きっとその優しさで飲み込んでしまう。そんなひどい計算があったんだよ。
Extremely, extremely selfish. That's not cool to have said. That's not cool to have done, Setsuna. She knows exactly what important thing I intend to tell her. She understands the meaning behind the conclusion I've made.
だから私、今日春樹くんに会うことにした。1年に1度しか通用しない手って分かってたけど、今の私にはこうするしかなかったの。
Despite knowing full well about those facts, she'll continue telling me that she doesn't know anything until I spell it out to her. Setsuna's clinging onto that social rule.
これからは年1回しか会えないかもね。次は来年の今日まで。織姫と彦星みたい。
刹那。
1年間ずっと彦星から逃げ続ける織姫。みっともないね。心の底から惨めだね。
いいよもう。刹那の言う通り、今日はめでたい日だろ。そんな風に自分を責める日じゃないだろ。
That's not how it works, though. You both know that.
自分で春樹くんを突き放しておいて、なのにあなたが離れていこうとするのを認められないなんて。
いいってば。
そんなのないよ。最低だよ私。
That's not true. No matter how I think about it, I'm the one who's the worst between us, aren't I?
誕生日おめでとう、刹那。今日はそれだけでいいだろ。
Who am I kidding? Even if I say something so obvious, Setsuna absolutely won't admit it.
ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。
This poor girl. I feel for her at this point in this storyline, but she has to move on. This is just not good for either of them. Haruki too, he needs to be straightforward, he needs to move on. Anyway, we'll stop at this very, very sad moment. Thank you so much for being with me on this episode of Mari-san's Route, and I hope to see you soon in the future for more. Until then, hope you take care. See you!